Well, I work at Goddard Space Flight Center for NASA, the lead mission director at Goddard. I was first hired there in 2001 as a mission director for some space science mission operations. I was mission director for a number of missions until 2010. I took over as mission director for the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and I was mission director for that mission up until last year when I got hired as the lead mission director. So to me, that was the biggest Apollo legacy. It was originally designed as a mission for the Constellation program, which was supposed to be the return to the moon back during George H.W. Bush's administration. Now, that didn't pan out, but LRO was launched and has mapped the moon many times over. And that was a great mission. I really enjoyed that one more than anything I've ever done in my 35-year career in space. Working for NASA is just a dream come true. The Apollo 11 mission launched when I had just turned 6 years old on the day that they landed. So that's kind of a special time coming up to celebrate a birthday and the landing at the same time. But that really piqued my interest in space. I followed every Apollo mission from actually Apollo 10 onward and became very interested in the space field since that time. It's amazing. 400,000 people worked on that program. It's amazing that we all don't know somebody. There was one time the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter had an exhibit at the Air and Space Museum, and a man came up to me and just started talking about all the astronauts that he had met, that he worked for NASA during the Apollo time period. And I was like, wow, this is really great. What did you do? He worked in the cafeteria at headquarters. Just fascinating to find people all over. They felt like they were such a part of this. I mean, this encompassed so many people, and just anything that they did working for NASA or for any of the contractors that were supporting, they felt a part of this major event of putting a human being on the moon. I was very fortunate, having been a part of LRO, to meet a couple of the astronauts who walked on the moon. Jack Schmitt, who was on Apollo 17, is the only geologist that walked on the moon. So he's still very involved in lunar geology and works a lot with the LRO program. So I've met him several times. He actually rode in my car once. I said I would charge people $20 a pop if they want to ride in the seat that Jack Schmitt rode in. I got to meet Buzz Aldrin at a conference one time. He was a very gracious individual, and I was really happy to do that. And then, of course, we met Charlie Duke when he was down at the Citadel for that leadership symposium. And now when you sit there and watch the Apollo 11 moon landings and see him on the Capcom and hear him talking with the astronauts, it just brings a whole new perspective to it. I think this anniversary of the Apollo moon landing is just so fantastic, especially coming now as I'm starting to wind down my career in space and the wonderful things I've been able to accomplish and be a part of. Looking back on this and now even looking towards the future and hopefully getting boots back on the moon in 2024 is a big push at NASA. And I think it would be a good thing, not just for this country, but for the world, to start getting a presence back at the moon again and push onwards towards Mars and really become a spacefaring people. It's impressive, and it's amazing what they accomplished 50 years ago, and I think we can do so much more now.